That's the way I think we should go. And if you want to know why we're getting better stuff, it's because we need it for the live stream.
Yes,
The
sir.
camera. If you watch the live stream, the camera's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible. This camera will mount back in the center of the church up high, and from back there it's gonna have a remote back there, joystick, and it will swivel all the way around, zoom in and zoom out, and it'll be a new soundboard, new speakers, new lapel mount, and a projector, a screen projector. We're going to show the movies for the kids like we did. What was that movie we showed? Room. And for when missionaries come in, they can plug straight into the projector. We'll have a screen up here that can project their what's that thing's called?
Slideshow.
Yeah, their slideshows, PowerPoints. Y'all know more about that stuff than I do. I'm not computer smart. I can barely work my smartphone. It makes me feel stupid. But this stuff will be a great improvement for our church. So is everybody in agreement to go ahead with the credit card like this? All in favor? All opposed? You opposed? Well, you raised for me. All right, if you would, turn with us into Revelation chapter number 5. Continuing the study on tribulation, on the end of times. And when we started this a while back. But when we started, if you remember, I taught on the 3 different parts, the 3 different beliefs, pre-trib, post-trib, and mid-trib. You've been paying attention. I taught all 3 doctrines. Pre-trib, which is what I believe we leave out right as the tribulation begins. Mid-trib, you go the middle ways through the tribulation, then the church comes out. Post-trib is you got to go through it all, and then you live out. And all of us have been married. I will put it to you like this. How many of you would have, on your wedding day, allowed your wife in her white dress to walk through a mud puddle? No, none of us would. So why would God put us through the same thing? And last week we got over here in John's vision of God's throne. We got over here and started looking at it. But that's something I wanted to bring out before we get too far into it. And I want you to notice something that's going on in our world today. And that's this transgender bathroom. I can't remember her name, but the lady's a teacher. It's a teacher. It's moving out of North Carolina due to it. All I can say is, nah, goodbye. We should not have transgender bathrooms. All that's doing is allowing a predator to go into a bathroom and attack one of our young ladies. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You might have to bail me out of jail if I go into a restaurant or somewhere to eat, and my wife and my daughter go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna stand guard. I'll go in first, and I'm gonna make sure it's clear, and then once the bathroom's clear, they're gonna go in. I'm gonna stand guard, and there ain't anyone come in. I'm not gonna put my daughter or my wife in jeopardy because some pervert wants to get in there and say, well, I'm transgender, and they're not. They're a pedophile. They were born men because God wanted them to be men. They were born women because God wanted them to be women.
Amen.
You look at that going on. You look, Brother Josh, at the homosexual movement going on. Call me old school. Call me whatever you want to. It is not okay to marry. God never intended it for 2 guys to hook up or 2 females. If He intended it for that, then they'd be able to reproduce. Well, preacher, they got that. What is that called? Fertilization now? Intro, whatever it's called. Go ahead and say whatever you want to. but the naturally speaking way of reproducing, 2 males can't and 2 females can't.
Right.
They cannot reproduce. See, 2 males can't make something like that, or something like that back here. It takes a male and a female. Amen. I think America is in a sad shape where it's at today with that.
That's right.
And that's leading up to the coming of Christ. The other thing I want to point out to you before we get into this chapter is this: partial birth abortion, or any abortion, morning after pill, is wrong. You're taking a life. And that's leading up to the truth, to the coming of the Lord. And I was even posed the question one time: if your wife was raped, she got pregnant with another man's baby, could you raise it as your own? I pondered on that, and I thought, because I didn't answer real quick, because that'd be a hard question to answer. You men think about it. You think about that question there. That's a hard one to swallow. I pondered on it. I thought, first thing I thought was, well, we can give it up for an abortion, or not abortion, but adoption. But then I thought, no, if she's gonna carry it 9 months, why should I make her have to give something up that, you know, has been part of her, even though it was not a willing act. So I thought about this part. I began to watch Andrew. I began to watch Kenny. I began to watch Ricky. I began to watch my stepdad. And notice how they love me and how they love their children, even if it ain't their blood. So I began to wonder, what would I do? And the answer is, I would still have that child, and I would still love that child as my own. Because abortion is wrong, any way you look at it. And I've heard the arguments, well, if a woman's dying, this, that. Listen, and don't get me wrong, I ain't trying to say kill a woman off when I say this. But if that happens, that's God's plan.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a plan. Well, if we can stop it, no, God's plan. Now, I'm not saying if you got cancer, don't go to the doctor. You'd be dumb not to. You go to the doctor. But I don't see taking a little unborn baby's life in order to save someone else's. How do you know it ain't that? So I'll tell you this, and then we'll go into Romans chapter 4, Revelation chapter 5. This is all having to deal with what's getting ready to take place in the world. When my wife and our children was attending Chapel Hill, now Kira and JD, they were too young to remember. My wife remembers. A lady in the church, a husband and wife, come up to us. She was pregnant, had an ultrasound. The doctor told her she needed to have an abortion. The doctor, her OB/GYN, told her, said, you need to have an abortion. The ultrasound showed no legs, no arms on the baby, just a head and a body. Said, have an abortion, have an abortion. Pushed it, was pushing. She was broke down in tears, and one night, up on the rock altar, we took that ultrasound. We laid it down and prayed over it. She said, I ain't having an abortion. Whatever it is, I'm going to have it the way it is. We prayed that God's will be done. They told her that there's a 90% chance she would die during labor because of the way the baby was, because, I mean, there's all this. I was trying to get her to have this abortion. She gave birth, perfect birth, no problems. Guess what the baby had? It had both arms, both hands, all 10 fingers, both legs, both feet, all 10 toes. And that kid would run as fast as any other kid could in a church. There was nothing wrong with the baby. And the doctor said, well, our ultrasound machine must have messed up. This was the mother's reply. She said, when I was in labor, you took an ultrasound. And it still showed the same. She said, there is no mistake in anything. It was a miracle of God. So always remember, when you have a child, it's a miracle of God. But that's all leading up, starting in chapter number 5, verse number 1. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written, and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. Notice this, it's sealed with 7 seals. So when you see a book and you look at this book, any book, Brother Josh, and it's sealed with 7 seals, do you understand what that means? Well, we know the number means completion, but what does the sealing mean? What do you have to do to open that book? You have to break all 7 seals. One at a time, every seal has to be broken open to get into that book. When you get an envelope in the mail, it's sealed, and you have to break that seal to get on what's on the inside. Now, we can't break this seal. No one sitting in this church tonight can break these seals. There's only one. There's only one person who can break these seals. So let's move on. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. Now, see what it said there? Who did it say? Worthy. Worthy. Worthy what?
To open the seal.
Worthy to open the book and loose the seals thereof. And it had to be a what? It couldn't be a weak angel. It couldn't be someone real weak. It had to be a strong one. Someone had to be very strong. So that tells us there's a lot of power in this book. And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. That's a pretty powerful book. You think about it. No one around the earth, in the earth, above the earth, or under the earth could look at it. It completely covered this whole earth. None of us could look upon it. That's how much power is in this one book. Have you ever been reading a book and really got just drawn into it? Now, come on, don't tell me no one's ever read a book. But, I mean, you get drawn into it. Well, I know this day and age we don't do books.
Yeah, they always say that the book's better than the movie. That's what I think.
Yeah. I remember, I guess I was in 7th grade, so it's been a long time. But I remember reading a book called The Outsiders. Anybody ever read it? I loved that book. Tommy Boy and all of it. And it was about, what was it, 7 boys, I believe it was. And they were, I mean, just all kinds of trouble. One had to dye his hair, but keep from being recognized. And just, if you ever read the book, you'll get drawn into it because it's about a bunch of greasers. If you don't, how many understand what greasers is? It's the 1950s. That's what the guys called themselves because they didn't have many. If you had a haircut like mine, that was like George Jones had that in that time. But most of your teenage boys, they had the John Travolta's look in Grease. The Elvis Presley look, you had it slicked back with grease, and that was called greasers. The Fonzie look. And that was about them. And at that time, I was really in love with the song "The Leader of the Pack." I know I probably went over some people's heads with that. That's an old 1950s song. So I got drawn into that book. That's the only book I ever read in school. How'd you graduate high school? Barely got out. The Outsiders is the only book. The teacher told us to read To Kill a Mockingbird. I went and got the Cliff Notes. They tried to get me to read Annie Oakley and all that. I'd go find the Cliff Notes somewhere. I would not read the books. And if I couldn't find the Cliff Notes, I found the movie. And I barely got through. But The Outsiders, I sat down and I began to read it, and it drew me in, and it kept my attention for so long until the book was over. Then you know what I said, Kenny? I said, man, I wish there was a part 2. Then I watched the movie. the outside. See, there's a movie to it. And the movie did not do it justice. So we can get captivated by a movie. Another example of it is, you ever get captivated by a TV show? Where, I mean, you are not going to miss that TV show. You're addicted. It's got a power over you. And a lot of people now I got a Roku. Some of us got Roku. Some of you got the Netflix and all that. You'll get hung on a series. And you'll binge watch. I mean, you'll watch 10 to 12 in one Saturday. And you'll get hung into it. One of the ones I got hung on and still hung on is called Switched at Birth. They say it still comes on TV. I don't know, I've never seen it live on TV. I've been watching it on there and I've got hung on it. It's about a deaf girl and a hearing girl that got switched when they were born. And then later on in life they find out about it. And they start having to learn ASL and all this, sign language. But I've got hung and it's got, Brother Marshall, I watch it every night before I go to bed. Richard, you're crazy. But that's how much power it has. Something that draws your attention will have a power. Even a book, a TV show, something can draw you in. And what does the Bible say that we wrestle with? Principalities and powers of this air. Guarantee you I can show you tonight one thing, and you'll have to agree with me, that has power over you right this second. Why don't everybody take their cell phone and throw it in the trash? And go a week without your cell phone. No, and go a week without internet. Go a week without Facebook. Go a week without Twitter. Go a week without FaceTime. Go a week. You can't do it, can you? You think about it. Every day, you'll find some way to get on Facebook. Yeah, I know you ain't got it. But I'm just showing you that it's got a power on it. The internet, your phone, it's got a power on it. Because I remember, Brother Joe, before there were cell phones, I remember having a beeper, and your beeper would go off, and you'd look and say the number, and you'd run find your payphone and put you in a corner and make a phone call. I know some people don't remember that. But I had a beeper. Everybody had beepers. Boy, you was cool if you had the beeper. If you went beep beep. But it had a power, because as soon as you see something on there, you'd run find a phone. It had a power that had control. And then cell phones first come out, and it was about yay tall, and you walk around like you had a big old horseshoe hanging on your head. And then they got down to this small. And now they're back up. Well, what are you getting at? But now, when they first come out, you couldn't text. I never knew what the letters on the phone was about. Now all of a sudden it's about typing a text message. But you couldn't text on it, it was made for calling. And the only reason you had one was in case of an emergency. Because you was not about to spend hours upon hours on that phone, because you got charged by the minute. Yeah, I mean, I remember the first cell phone I had, I spent much time roaming, I got the first bill on it, because my mom and dad wouldn't pay for it. We was required to have it, but we had to pay for it ourselves. And I about had a cow. I was working at Eagles as a bag boy. They don't make my truck payment. Have to pay a cell phone payment. Well, you couldn't do much on it, so it wasn't that hard. The next thing you hear about is, you start hearing about a BlackBerry. The first smart dumb phone. I mean, they were neat little things. My mom just now got to a BlackBerry. She thinks it's the greatest thing. I said, wait till you get up there to a smartphone. But then all of a sudden it started touching. There's no more having to die. My phone has got me so spoiled, I hardly ever dial anybody. I pick it up, I hit a button, say, call Marshall.
Yeah,
And it calls him.
that's it, bro.
Call Joe Duarte. I don't even have to text anymore, Josh. I hit a button, text Joe. Okay, what do you want to send Joe? Oh man, this is neat. But now think about it. But then I get to playing internet on it. And I got one of them little meters for my data. We got what, 12 gigabytes? 10 to 12 gigabytes, something like that. I watch that meter as we're traveling down the road, it's going to work and stuff. I'm over there watching YouTube, I'm watching this, I'm watching that. I'm watching that meter start going up. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the month, I started getting text messages. You've used 75% of your data. You've used 95% of your data. And then eventually it says, to add an extra gigabyte, you have used all of your. It'll be an extra $15 a month. I said, well, that ain't bad. Then I got another gigabyte to watch what I want to. But it has that power over it. Because I'll prove it to you. How many times have you Googled something on your phone? We have Googled on Marshall's phone in this church during Sunday school. How many can go get an encyclopedia and look up a word today?
Good.
It'd be hard, wouldn't it, though? What is it? That phone, it's so easy. It's got that power. Now, that's a power that's over us that I was trying to get across to you, make you understand how easy something can have a power over you. Now, this book ain't got that kind of power like what you think, like a cell phone has over you. This book has a great power. But it's a power that's an almighty power. It's a holy power that, really, to be honest, we don't want much of. We don't want much. If I can't look upon it, I don't want to be part of it. Because this is going to be a rough time for people to go through. All right. Yep. I remember what verse it was on. And I wept much because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. All right. I'm going to ask, who thinks you can explain to me what the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David is?
Titles and names of Jesus.
Yeah. It's Jesus. He has prevailed. And he is the leader of the tribe of Judah. He is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And he is out of the root of David. David. How many remember the story of David in the Old Testament? David and Goliath. David with the rod took out Goliath, slew Goliath. But now notice, you say, well, how's he the root of David? That's Old Testament. He was so many years afterwards because his lineage goes to David. He is of the seed of David. So he is out of the seed of David. That's why when he comes back and he sets his kingdomship up here on earth, which I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, I'm not meaning to, that's why he'll take David's throne. That is his throne. And I held, and lo, in the midst of the throne, and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb, as it had been slain, seeing 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent forth unto all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. Right, now here Christ was being an interpreter when he took the book. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 4 and 20 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. Now I want you to listen now. Pay close attention here. Notice that one thing here. All the prayers that we've ever prayed are going to be there. Prayers of the saints. Think about how many prayers have been prayed by the saints. Here they're going to be there. And they sung a new song. Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us by God, by the blood out of every kindred and the tongue and people and nation. Now that verse, does anyone wonder what that verse is talking about? Who it's talking about? It's talking about us.
Yeah, he redeemed us.
He redeemed us. We're the ones who get to sing the new song. See, the angels can't sing that song because they've not been redeemed. They've always been. God created them to be there, to be his angels. But we have not been there. We were redeemed by Jesus who died on the cross and shed his blood for our sins. So we get to sing that song. They can't even sing it.
What every kindred means to every nation, every nationality, and every black, white, Chinese, whatever. That's what it means.
Yeah, it's every nationality. The most farthest part of Africa, where they've got the big tribes.
And the tongue is all these different languages.
Yeah, every language. Today, there would not be so many different languages in the world if it hadn't been for them trying to build the tower in the Old Testament.
Right.
Tower of Babel is what started all the languages. Because they had this thought that they will build a tower to get to heaven. And boy, they started out and they started up good with that tower. And God said, you ain't getting here. Not yet. And he struck them all with different languages. And it's biblical. You can go into your Old Testament and read it. He struck them all with different languages that they couldn't understand each other anymore. So no longer could they put a 2x4 together. They could not work. And I've got a lot of experience in this doing the work I used to do. Try to work with someone who speaks no English, like a Hispanic, that has no English background. It's a nightmare. I mean, we start trying to do languages. And I've learned one thing that they understand, that they'll do anything you want. You say, no work, no dinero. They understand that. That means no work, no money. But anything else they don't understand. And there's a language barrier. It makes it hard. Because a lot of times you have to take it out of their hands, show them what you want, and then let them go with it. And then you have to go do your job, plus come back and make sure you know what you want to do. There's a language barrier there, and it's hard to get. So that's why I hear it from every tongue. Now that means that everybody with a different language is going to hear about Jesus Christ before he comes back. It will be going to this whole world and preach. Internet. Right now we're reaching the whole world from this little church.
Missionary.
Well, we got missionary, but right now, this very moment, this is going out across the whole world. This service. Yes, Josh, good point. What was it? 2-3 months ago, we got an email from Kenya. The lady in Kenya had been tuning into our services in Kenya. And see, that's what I'm talking about. It's going out across the whole world. So every language is going to hear it eventually.
See, when you got Google, when it goes to another country, it automatically translates into the language.
I hate that. Be one of them translators keeping up with me when I'm preaching. Oh, well, that'd be good for them. Because they could be like that missionary that interpreter was with Willard down in Mexico. Willard was in a big way of preaching. That interpreter said, "I've never sweat trying to keep up with somebody before."
Well,
He was. It's going to all languages, so all kindred, every nation, all people, all tongues, and has made us into our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. All right, let's stop right there. I'm just going to just a little bit. Now you say, preach one of them talking about making us kings, and we shall reign on earth. Right, yes. You said I didn't ask. I'm going to tell you. You read in the Bible where it says you've made you ruler over a few things, make you ruler over many. Right here's where it's talking about. If you can't do the little things, how's he going to allow you to be a ruler?
Yeah.
We ain't got to open in the seals yet. Think about this. Josh, you work for Tucker, Steve works for Tucker. Guess what's going to happen if y'all? There's going to be a boss come down and say, "Look, boys." They won't say boys, because I'd be scared to call you. They would say, "Look, fellas, enough. Let's work together to get it done." Two Brahma bulls butting heads with each other ain't going to make it. But to be a ruler, we don't need to be a ruler like some of these people. And when you're thinking of ruling, you're thinking, "Well, I'm going to be the top dog." No. No. Meaning ruler, meaning he's blessing you. He's blessing you. He's blessing you with stuff. He's blessing you. And you're not nobody's boss. Because up there's only two people. And that's God and his son, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, he's the man who made all this. So you're not going to be his boss, then. I've seen people who think they're God himself's boss. I mean, they just got that attitude about it. I'm not that way. In verse number 11, and I beheld and heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beast and elders, and the member of them was 10,000 times 10,000, thousand and thousands of thousands. You want to go ahead and try to add that up? Be my guest. I ain't even going to attempt to try to add that up. Saying with a loud voice. Now listen to what they're saying. They're saying this together. Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. Now, they all said that together. 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands. And every creature is in heaven and on earth and under the earth, such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, blessed, blessing, and honor and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever. And the four beasts said, Amen, and the 24 elders fell down and worshipped him that liveth forever and ever. Now we'll back up to last week. How many remember what the 24 elders were? The 24 elders? 12 tribes of Israel, 2 leaders out of each tribe. Make out 2 times 24. 2 times 12 is 24. But that's what that is. Remember that. It's very important to remember the tribes of Israel, because in the Old Testament you read about them. Then a lot through the New Testament you don't hear much about them. You know why? It's because they've been pretty well done away with because one man came and and died on the cross for their sins. And up until he died on the cross, and up until the book of Acts, it's still just been for the Israel people. When Jesus died on the cross, you read your Bible, he never went to the Gentiles. He never preached to the Gentiles. We would be considered the Gentiles. He never once come to the Gentiles. He went to his own people. He preached to his own people. The Bible says he preached to his own people and they received him not. Now he died for everybody, but he never preached to them because in that day, in that custom, it was for him to preach just to his people. He wasn't supposed to go out of there. But then in the book of Acts, Paul done something that no one else had done. Paul went to the Gentiles. He took the message of Jesus Christ to the Gentiles. Then the tribes, there's no longer about the 12 tribes. Now it's about a whole different group of people. You got the Israel here, and now you've got these Gentiles. Which, in other words, means when we ask Jesus to save us, come into our hearts, forgive us of our sins, now we become grafted in, means we become adopted in to that. At one part in the book, in the New Testament, it calls the Gentiles a Gentile dog. And see, that's why throughout the rest of the New Testament, the tribe wasn't mentioned. The Old Testament, they're mentioned a lot. New Testament, after Jesus' death, Paul took it to the Gentiles. He took it where we could get in, for us. Because are you tonight in Israel? Are you an Israeli? Are you from Israel? No, none of us are. I was born and raised right here in Ashland, North Carolina. May the 31st, 1981, Brother Joe at Ashland Memorial Mission Hospital. I was born. And I've lived in Fairview 90% of my life. I take 10% out when I live in Fletcher and sort of 90% I've lived in Fairview. So I've been right here in this area all my life. Never been outside, living wise in this area. I am a citizen born in the United States. But I am grafted into a holy family with Jesus. I'm adopted in. He's made me an heir. Amen. He gives me the same thing the Israelites are getting. He's giving me the same thing the tribes are getting. I get it the same. Do you know in America today, now this is just where maybe you understand a little bit more. In America today, if you adopt a child, that by law, you are not required to leave any of your other children in, but by law, you have to leave that adopted child. Right. Your blood children, you don't have to leave nothing to. But that adopted child, you have to leave something. That is a law in America today. The reason is because that adopted child has no lineage. Now you get that. Maybe you'll catch up on that. That one has no lineage. So you're leaving it something where it has some sort of lineage. Joe, you went through this. You know what I'm talking about because you've adopted Tyler, right? You're his guardian, and Joe's had to go through this. You adopted your stepkids, didn't you? No, you never did. But he's had to go through this with Tyler. So by law, he has to leave something. See, that's why we are adopted in. We're given the same thing by Jesus Christ. It ain't by law he has to do it, but he's doing it because he loved us enough that he died for us.
That's it.
He says, because I died for you and I love you that much, you are mine. You're one of me. You might have been born a Gentile, but you've been reborn in Israel. So think about it that way. As we start into verse 1 of chapter number 6, we'll read just a couple, and then we'll close out tonight. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals and heard, as it was a noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow and a crown, and was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Who do you think that is? It's not Jesus. No. I'll put it like this. It's not who you think it is. When this seal is open, this starts tribulation. This man is revealed at this time that no one else thinks. The Antichrist. This is when the Antichrist is revealed. The first seal, boom, the Antichrist is revealed. That's a scary thought, the Antichrist, that quick. You're saying, well, he's given power. See, the Antichrist cannot do what he can do unless he's given that power. See, that's part of the judgment on America and on the world at that time, is because of what we've done. Think back into the Old Testament. I know you said, well, you're going back to a lot of it to the Old Testament. But in the Old Testament, God repented for making man. He repented for making us because of what we had become.
Oh, yeah.
Because of Sodom and Gomorrah. Look what happened when the gays and homosexuals was taking over Sodom and Gomorrah. God come in and he destroyed the cities. Then in Noah's days, you read about when Noah's days. It's hard enough to preach on this. In Noah's days, they were marrying and giving in marriage. They were drinking and being married. And he got sick of it. He repented for making man. And he said, look, I'm going to destroy the earth. So what did he do? Noah preached for 130 years that rain's coming. And everybody laughed at it because why? It never rained on earth. If you read your Bible, water come up from the ground in nursery. That's where the rain, that's how we got our water during that time. It come up from the ground. It never come from the sky. Could you imagine waking up in the morning as you see the dew today, but it being 10 times wetter just to give it enough water that it needs? But then Noah built the ark, and they probably thought, well, you're an idiot. Built it on dry land. Loaded 2 of every kind in there. God shut the door and sealed it, and the rain began to fall. And they were knocking on the ark saying, Noah, let us in. It's too late. God had sealed the door. Judgment had been passed. He couldn't. He wanted to. No, I have no doubt Noah wanted to open that door and let them in. But he couldn't because judgment had been passed. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives, the only human beings made it through it. Judgment had been passed. See, now we're starting into the judgment of this world with the first seal. I wanted to get the first seal where we could get through it. The judgment of this world now is starting to come. The church is gone. The church is out of here. The judgment's set in now. See, that's part of the tribulation. That's the judgment. That's our price that we have to pay. You don't get much teaching on this stuff anymore. You don't have many preachers talking about this. And the reason is because 1999, my dad was one of them. 97 through 2000, my dad, that's all he taught. He preached, he taught it. That's all he taught. Tribulation, tribulation. Tribulation, tribulation, tribulation. And he kept saying, year 2000, it's in. It's the end. Well, in the year 2000 was the end for him. But it wasn't for the rest of us. When you preach, what are you talking about? January 1st, 2000, he stood behind that pulpit just the same as Ralph Sexton did and a lot of other preachers did. Had to apologize, saying, well, this is the year the Lord is coming back, because he didn't come back. They had to apologize. But when I say it was the end for him, February the 12th of 2000, my dad went on to be the Lord. He passed away on a Saturday morning. So for him, 2000 was the end. It was his time. His time was up. His time to go on. But here, I can't tell you what year it was. It's gonna be, I cannot tell you. I ain't even gonna try to tell you what year it was. It could be tonight, it could be 30 years from now. Joe said, oh man, Joe could still be here alive and kicking in 30 years. That'd be, put you over 100, Joe. But it could be 30 years from now, Brother Josh, I will be retired, sitting at home, taking it easy, hopefully. But, huh?
Oh,
Well, that's because you're still in your 20s.
you got about 40 more years.
But what I'm getting at tonight is this. It could be now or it could be 100 years from now, but we gotta be prepared. Because if you're not prepared when this starts, well, before the church leaves out, you're gonna face the judgment of God. Adam, you had a question? Did you forget?
What will happen after the end comes to be revealed?
Well, we'll get into that. We ain't ready to go into that detail yet. That's the rest of chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a lot that takes place in from chapter 6 through. Read chapter 6 and try to read chapter 7 before next week. Because what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to do 2 chapters next week. I don't know if we'll ever get through 2 chapters. But next for Wednesday night, we're going to try it. Because see, you'll get into the chapter 6 and chapter 7 you'll get through 6 of your seals. Chapter 8, you get through your 7th seal and the great plagues. You start getting into the trumpets in chapter 9. And it just keeps going. The 2 witnesses of prophecy, we'll get into that. You're saying, what is the 2 witnesses? Well, here in about 3 weeks, we'll get into that. 2 witnesses is the 2 that never died here on earth. They have to come back. Enoch and Elijah. They have to come back. Now, that's my personal take on it. That's who it is. Now, some of your Bible scholars will tell you it's 2 angels, it's 2. I'll tell you it's Enoch and Elijah. Because they have to come back and they have to die. So, but we'll get into all that. And that's during the tribulation period. And I normally don't do this, but I'm going to tell you a couple good movies after you read that, if you'll go watch. Don't watch Nicolas Cage's version, because even though it's good, I've watched it, it's a good movie. It's still not what Kirk Cameron did. Watch Left Behind. Left Behind 1, Left Behind 2, Left Behind 3. Kirk Cameron is in all of them. Kirk Cameron he was off what, boy? Wonder Years? Growing Pains. But he's in those. Tribulation Force. Watch Tribulation Force. Tribulation Force. Now this has got some of your 80s actors in them that's gotten saved. They're redoing the movies. Mr. T's in it. As this stuff is unwinding, it's showing you what's going to take place. Read your chapters. Also start doing you some research on some of these movies. You'll find that, man, how close that they got to what it's going to be like. They didn't get it exactly. They got it close. Only thing I wish Kirk Cameron's Left Behind Part 1 could have that Nicolas Cage has had was when they done the rapture of the church. Because I mean, Nicolas Cage's version that come out 2 years ago, when they raptured the church, they were standing there in their clothes. I mean, you saw the people, and they were going, and the clothes fell.
Yeah, in one of those movies, the 2 minutes of wall.
Yeah.
You ever what that's about?
That's what we was just talking about.
Oh, okay.
That's something we're going to get
The
into.
Reverend Wall, yeah.
Yeah. That's something we're going to get into, because that's in these next coming chapters. Because now we have started into the tribulation period and what's taking place in the tribulation period. And it's gonna get deep from here on. Every week, we can try to get 2 chapters a week, but we might probably just get a few verses a week. There's gonna be a lot to talk, lots to discuss on this. All hearts and minds clear. Anybody got a question? Anybody got a thought? Anybody?
Says the beasts are gonna say, come here, come in, or something. Are those animals?
Speak.
Are they? You had a great answer, that cautious.
Yeah. They're gonna talk. These are gonna talk. Did you know in one part of the Bible, a mule talked to a guy? He said, the master was saying, go on. The mule stopped. He said, don't you see that? Talk to him. Because he saw the Lord over there and he said, I ain't going that far. Ain't that right, buddy? But a mule talk. I know it sounds like Mr. Ed and what was that other one? There used to be another old one about the donkey in the army they call. I know it's kind of funny to think of it, but it actually is going to take place. In heaven, it'll be different than we have here on earth. I mean, you ain't going to have Lassie running up to you asking you how. This is talking about a beast that is built, that is made to worship the Lord. He is going to speak. I mean, we got a beast right now that talks in that throat. But yes, they will speak in that day. All that time. Any other questions?
These pieces, the same one from chapter 4, talking about with the man safe arm and the eagle.
Do you remember that from last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same beast from last week. Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna borrow Brother Luther's Bible says that. You don't have to worry about many Baptists in heaven. I know you're looking kind of funny. So Baptists today will not spend $5 to watch a black snake ride a bicycle wearing sunglasses in a hailstorm. I think I went over some people's heads there. People will not pay money, even something that crazy to see. That was supposed to be a joke. Y'all took that as a joke, don't take it as serious. But when going back to it has the head of an eagle, it has the head of a human. Yes, the beast will speak. Anyone else got a question? Just quit that yawning. No one else got a question? A snake?
Yes.
Oh.
Break it down there.
How many did that snake joke go over your head? Oh. All right.
We were.
What we're getting at is Baptists. A lot of people say Baptists don't like giving money. They're tight on their wallets. So something as amazing as a snake wearing sunglasses riding a bicycle, they would not pay to see because it's so tight on their wallet. That generation, when Israel become a state, and we'll get to that in the Bible, in the study. When Israel become a state, Kenny's got a question about it, well, I'm gonna go ahead and answer it. That generation is promised, not a state, but it's called become a nationality. become a nation. That generation is promised never to die. It was 1947, I think. 1947, Israel will become a nation again. Joe, what year was you born? Joe was born 48, so you're 68 years old. So that was 69 or 68 years ago. So it'd be 69 now. 69 years ago. And you said, well, if that generation probably never died, why have we seen so many born in 47 die? It's not everyone. At least one person in that generation has to still live. One person. So you had 30 years to 69. What is it? 99. See, what's the oldest person ever lived in America? In 108, 109, something like that, maybe 112. So you look at how many more years we're talking about. It could be, or it could be right this second. That nation, that generation is promised never to die. One of those. If it's just one person, I believe the coming of Christ and the tribulation is as we speak. So if you look at how many brothers are turning against brothers, moms are turning against children, dads are turning against children, it's all over.
You see this when parents turn into children.
For 8 years, me and my brother hardly spoke. 8 long years. And we reconciled just the other day. And see how, and he told me, he said, I hate you doing this. I took a stand on something, and I didn't hate him, I loved him. Brothers turning against brothers. Long as brothers turn against brothers, sisters no longer agree. How many of you got sisters that you like to smack? We got 2 sisters saying that about each other right now.
Yes.
And if the third one was here tonight, if her husband wasn't sick, she'd be raising her hand too. But it happens. But when it's talking about sisters no longer agreeing, sisters fight. And never can be around each other. And that's what's going to parents turning against the children. Who in the right mind would just leave her child sitting in leave her car seat sitting there with her child in it for someone else to pick up. Or have the baby and throw it in the trash can. It's happening. Parents are turning against children. Children against parents. I mean, think about how many times you pick up the newspaper, turn on the news, and watch something about a child killing the parent. That's happening today. And that's something that's leading up to the end of time. Anyone else got a question? All right, Brother Marshall, if you would dismiss us in prayer tonight, brother.
Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this time that we was able to spend together and learn about your word, Heavenly Father. God, we love you, and we hope to see you one day. We'll be with you. Amen, amen.